So something that's really popular here on Heroic Pages are my book hauls, because book hauls are generally a little more popular than other type of book videos. But today, I'm bringing you something different. I'm bringing you my first ever UnHaul. I work at Tim Hortons, putting that out there, and the first Wednesday of June we have something called Camp Day. All the money made from coffee sales goes directly to the Tim Hortons Children's Foundation, which helps send kids of underprivileged families to summer camp. My store likes to do like a yard sale the weekend before and like sell stuff the day of. So my contribution for this is gonna be donating some books I don't want anymore and hopes that someone will buy them and that money would go for a good cause. So I have roughly 20 or so books to share with you, might be a little bit more. Let's get into it. I'm staring at this big huge pile. The lighting might change a bit because I have a stack of books blocking one of my spotlights. Here, I'll show you. That would happen if I didn't block light. But it's helping to illuminate the set. We'll get into lighting in a different video. The first three are books that I bought in that library sale I went to last year, and honestly I just don't see myself reading them at all. You have A Death in Vienna by Frank Tallis, Observatory Mansions by Edward Carey, and The Problem of the Missing Miss by Roberta Rogao. They've just been sitting on my shelf. I just looked at my shelf and I was very honest with myself. And I'm like, Kayla, are you gonna read those? Probably not. Next, I'm getting rid of the Twilights and The Host. So I only have book 1 and 4 of the Twilight saga, and of course The Host, so I have Twilight and Breaking Dawn, and The Host. Even though The Host, I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it when I read it, but I don't see myself rereading it. And these are time to get off my shelf because I'm not gonna reread these books. Next is this book. Doesn't have a dust jacket, I don't know what happened to it. But it's The Book of Shadows by James Reese. I have absolutely no idea what this book is about. I got this book when I parted ways with one of my old roommates. She didn't want it and I just took books from her. And now I'm just slowly getting rid of the ones I don't plan on ever reading. Becoming Jinn by Laurie Goldstein. Absolute shit. Did not finish. Don't plan on ever finishing it ever again, so it could go bye-bye. Getting rid of all the books I hated. Meh. So speaking of when I dabbled in books, this was before I started reading again, and ever so often I would go to chapters and just be like, maybe if I buy some books, I'll get into reading again. This is before I knew what Goodreads was, and using Goodreads at the bookstore to see if, hey, is this book the first book in a series? Because that's a helpful tool. So the first book is same story, basically, for both of them. The first one's Rome Burning by Sophia McDougall. This is actually book 2 in whatever series this is. I've had this on my bookshelf forever, so it is time to get rid of it, and hopefully some schmuck will pay a couple dollars for this for a good cause. The next is Antony and Cleopatra by Colleen McAuliffe. Colleen McAuliffe. Let's do that. I randomly took this off my shelf today and did a Goodreads search. This is book number 7. Book number 7. Nowhere on here does it say that it's part of a series or anything. I mean, because they have like the list of things by the author, and they have the Masters of Rome series, except this book's not listed on it because it's book number 7 and they have the first 6 on here. How am I supposed to know this is part of the Master of Rome series? How? This is a duplicate copy I have. I have all of my Dresden Files over here, and they're all in mass market paperback. So I'm going to continue this series in mass market paperback. So I'm getting rid of the hardback cover of this because I don't need 2 copies of the book. Next I have Dance Macabre by Laura K. Hamilton. I don't have any other Anita Blake books. I read these as, like, I started reading them as a teenager. I never got past the 5th book. So this is one of those books I got from a roommate. It was a duplicate of hers, and I just, it doesn't have the dust jacket on it. We're getting there. Oh, there goes the light. There goes the light. Ooh. I'm gonna have to put some of these back. These next books I got as the steal from Chapters. I think they were like $5 a piece when I got them. And these are Buffy the Vampire Slayer stories. They're all like the same thing. They're volumes 1, 2, and 3, and they each have 3 stories in them. So that's like 9 Buffy novels right here. So yeah, I'm getting rid of these because I just don't feel like I'm gonna read them at all, and they're taking up space. This next one's a doozy, and I'm getting rid of it because I can't read this, even though I want to read this book eventually, just not this version of it. And that is The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. I accidentally bought the large print edition from Book Outlet last year. I need to buy the regular one because I can't read. I can't read this. I can't. It's, no. Plus, this is massive. So hopefully someone older who's not good with the eyesight can maybe enjoy this. The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. I tried to read this, couldn't get into it past 9 pages, so I'm just gonna get rid of it rather than have it sit on my shelf for a really long time. I just don't want to be in a habit of keeping books that I'm not gonna read. God's War by Cameron Hurley. I like the premise of this book. It's about like an assassin or something. I started reading this and the language of the book and the world building just wasn't jiving with me, so I put it down and I just don't see myself picking it up again. Besides, there's engineering based on insects and I'm just not about that bug's life. We're almost done. Almost done. Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. This is a series that I'm not going to continue, therefore, why should I keep the book? Perfect sense, right? I didn't enjoy this, so I'm gonna get rid of it, and maybe someone else will enjoy it, because there are plenty of other people that enjoyed this trilogy. I'm just not one of them. This next book's kind of weird, because I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars last year, though I'm second guessing that in hindsight of all the reading that I've done since then, and that is The Selection by Kara Cass. I'm getting rid of this because I do not see myself reading the rest of the series. I enjoyed this book for what it was, which was basically like The Bachelor meets The Hunger Games. I enjoyed it at the time. It was a good book to start. Like, I read it about a year ago, so it was a good book to start getting into reading again. I just, like I said, I don't see myself reading the rest of the series at all. Next I have Erasing Time by C.J. Hill. This is a good premise of a book. I just did not enjoy the insta-love in it. I'm just gonna put it that way. It was enough to not make me not want to read the rest of this. There's like there's a second book or something. It was a good premise. It was about these twins that got transported into the future, and I love time travel stories, especially if they get taken into the future rather than the past. The last book that I have to share with you is Reboot by Amy Tintera. I am getting rid of this because I absolutely hate this book. I did not enjoy it at all. The insta-love was unbelievable. It's like borderline zombie-ish in this book as well, with the reboot stuff, and I'm not about zombies. I'm about vampires, not about zombies. So that means I have a lot of books that I'm getting rid of. That means I have a whole shelf on my bookshelf down here, to fill up and get more books. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my UnHaul. Please let me know what you think about the books I'm getting rid of. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!